Alright, we're demonstrating our test of the ECS 7100 PVT-M3 motherboard using IDE drives. We have the motherboard. As you can see, we have two SATA devices connected. Into SATA 1, we have a Samsung 7200 RPM drive that is a boot drive for Windows XP Service Pack 3. In number 4, we have a HP DVD writer. Coming out of the IDE connector in the off the motherboard, we have two Western Digital 500 gigabyte IDE drives. You see this one is the slave, this one is the master. You can tell by the jumper settings. You can compare it to this Western Digital drive sitting here. You can see that the master setting is here and the slave setting is here. So, right now the system is on. This is the system display. And as you can see, there's nothing on the system because the system hangs at boot up. And we'll reboot the system. And this will power off and reboot the system. As you can see on the screen, it detects the hard drives. Starts to boot Windows XP, and after a few seconds, the system hangs. On this particular motherboard, this behavior is very consistent and will happen every time. We can also power off the machine. If we remove the slave device, leaving only the master, you'll see that you will get the same result. Now, we've tested a number of these motherboards. In fact, we have the motherboard cases right over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe. And we've seen varying results as shown on the board here. This is a representative sample with two of the motherboards. On our first machine, which is the same box as the one we just showed you, we were able to get it to boot. We started the test basically in exactly the same way as you just saw, with a IDE drive and a second IDE drive. We attempted to boot the system and we got the Windows screen hang. We did a second test where we had a drive that we labeled G. We removed the IDE drive and the system booted. We changed the physical device from a drive that was labeled G to a drive that was labeled B, and the system would consistently hang. We reformatted B on another XP system, and the system booted. This behavior is also consistent if the drive is not formatted. The system will boot when the drive is not formatted, however it will hang when you try to format the drive. System 2 is the system we just saw. This particular motherboard consistently does not produce a boot when the IDE drive is installed. We've never seen success. We've attempted to use it with 2. We've removed the master, we've removed the slave, and we get consistent results. As a control, we have an ASUS motherboard. Not a lot of documentation here, but the tests with the ASUS board have been consistently positive on every IDE drive that we've tested. We tested about 8 IDE drives in these configurations across 8 different motherboards. One of the motherboards is still unopened. So that's the scenario, and I believe what we have is a hard failure motherboard on the System 2 that could be diagnosed by ECS. It's very clear that of the 8 motherboards tested, this is the only board that we were unable to boot under any conditions.